Hi guys, what's up? Welcome back to another video. So today's video is going to be about Screaming Frog. Screaming Frog, for the ones who don't know, is an amazing tool which you can use to audit any website, analyze any website. I personally use Screaming Frog on a regular basis for my client site, and you can use it too. It's free to use. You can go to screamingfrog.co.uk. I'll leave a link for that in the description, and you can grab it for free. You can crawl any website up to 500 pages, 500 URLs. If you want to, you trying to crawl a bigger website, more than 500 URLs, then you will have to go ahead and get the license, which is paid. But for, like a small site, for a local site, which generally has below 500 URLs, you can very well go ahead and use the free version of Screaming Frog to audit it. Welcome to Software Shuffle. This is the place where business owners and savvy marketers come to learn how to use AI, SEO, and content to build profitable online businesses. As an SEO specialist, I've had the chance to work on and help numerous websites grow their organic traffic and take the business to the next level. We hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you do, consider subscribing to the channel. So the way you want to go about this is, first you want to grab the URL of the website that you want to crawl, bring it over to Screaming Frog, and then just add it over here. Okay, so there are a few different types of crawls that you can do. You can crawl the entire website. In that case, just let this be at default, which is subdomain. You can also crawl URLs within a subfolder. So for example, if this website searchbillions.com had a subfolder called searchbillions.com / let's say services, I could go ahead and crawl all those URLs within that subfolder as well. Or you can also go ahead and crawl a particular or individual URLs. As of now, I want to crawl the entire website, so I'll just let this be to default, which was subdomain, and click on start. So you can see it's crawling all the pages. Now, this is a smaller website, so it's not going to take too much time to crawl all the pages. But if you're crawling a larger website, say 400, 500, 1,000 pages, then the tool will take a bit more time to crawl all the pages. But as you can see, our crawl is done. So I'll go ahead and explain to you what these different tabs mean. So you can see that the screen is split in 4 panes. So first you have this over here, which has all the URLs. So if you can see the home page and all these other pages. Now, this tab gives us a lot of information about each of these URLs. So things like the status code, whether it's a 200 or 301 or it's a 404, you can see that over here. Then you have other things like indexability, title tags, meta description, the length of the meta titles and descriptions, word counts, and things of that nature. So a lot of information in this tab here. Now, if you wanted to go more in depth, into each of these URLs, you just select the URL that you want to fetch more detail on, and then you come on this tab here. So it shows you more information about each of these URLs. So again, things like status code, which means the response code, whether it's 200, which means everything's fine. And if there's like a 301, which means, it has been redirected, or 404, which means the page doesn't exist. In those types of, if you get a response code of that nature, then you might want to go in and investigate further. But then it shows you all these details over here. So things like, again, meta description and titles, canonical tags, and things of this nature. And also it shows you, the text to HTML ratio, crawl depth. So it's very important. Generally, 3 to 4 is recommended for all pages within the site. We don't want, pages to be buried very deep. So this is another additional useful information that you get from this tool. Crawl depth, folder depth, outlinks, inlinks, and everything of that nature. On the right over here, you have the summary of the entire crawl. So things like total URLs encountered, internal URLs, external URLs, and then you have your crawl data, which is split into internal and external. So you can go into any one of these tabs, any one of these elements, and investigate further as to for example, if you were checking your images, you could go ahead and see things like whether they're indexable or not, the size of the images, whether they have an alt text missing or not, things of that nature. Okay, below this you have a chart which shows you the composition of the site, so the ratio of the HTML, JavaScript, CSS and images. So this also gives you, an insight as to how the back end of the site actually looks. Now, if you were using this tool to audit a website, how would you go about doing that? So of course, the first way is to, just take a look. You can go ahead and look at URLs individually and take a peek into what the issues might be. But the better way is to actually export this data. So to export, you come over here, click on HTML. That way you will get all the pages of the site and not the other elements. So as you can see, we have around 24 HTML pages. And then what you can do is you can export this data. So if you use Google Sheets, you can do that. If you're comfortable with Excel, you can do that. And then you can export this data. And then once the data is exported, you can go in and highlight, the issues that you see, maybe add a comment and have your team work on it. If you're working on it, then, it's pretty much the same process. You can highlight the issues that you see and then go about fixing those issues one by one. There are some more cool things that you can do with Screaming Frog. So for example, you can have your own custom crawls. So for that, you'll have to come up to configuration and click on crawl config, and then you'll get access to all these different settings. So based on your requirements, you can either select or deselect these different elements and then have yourself your own custom crawl. So this is another cool feature to keep in mind, a useful feature that can actually, help you create these custom audits if you require. Another cool thing is that if you come back to configuration and go down to API access, you'll actually see that you can hook up different tools. So you can hook up your analytics, search console, if you're using tool like Ahrefs or Moz, with Screaming Frog. So that is another cool feature. It actually makes things really easy, because before we had to, export data from Screaming Frog and then export data from analytics and then, map out the data for each URL manually, which is very, very time consuming, especially if it's a big website. But now you have this feature. So you have the technical information from Screaming Frog. And then if you have, you've hooked up, let's say, analytics, you will get things like, bounce rate, page views, unique visits for each and every URL. So a long string of information, pretty much everything you'd want for every URL to optimize the website. So this was a quick overview of this tool, which we all love. I certainly do. And I'm pretty sure a lot of SEOs and content marketing, professionals also love this tool. There are more features that I don't want to go into too much detail about, because then this video will be very long. But then this is, an overview of the tool of how you have to go about using a Screaming Frog. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you. I'll see you in the next one.